What is up, everybody? This is Brother Sin. I hope you all had a safe, warm, and wonderful 4th of July, you patriotic bastards, because I sure as heck did. It was a gorgeous day, great family time, great sun, great fun. It was everything that the 4th of July is supposed to be. So boom, there you go. Today's episode of the podcast is once again brought to you by the Dolce Diet. Sirnear Fit is a proud licensed representative of the Dolce Diet. Whether you're looking to get shredded for an event, for a beach vacation, for a pool party, for a class reunion, or whether you're just looking to make some ongoing, lifelong nutritional changes, the Dolce Diet has answers for you. Whether it's the 3 weeks to shred, which is designed to drop 21 pounds in 21 days, and it works. Trust me, I've done it multiple times. I am a student of the system. I am a bonded, licensed, certified representative, coach of that system. I'm a believer it works. So whether you need to drop 21 pounds in 21 days or whether you would rather do the 8-week Living Lean program, make slow, sustainable progress while staying full, eating a variety of earth-grown, natural foods, there's a solution for you. Or do them both. Start out with the 3 weeks to shred, follow it up with the 8 weeks to Living Lean to maintain your results, or start with the Living Lean. Do your 8 weeks, build some slow progress, and then boom, hit them with the 3 weeks to shred and just melt the fat away. We have got answers for you. Go to the DolceDiet.com. Check it out. The testimonials are real. The pictures are real. I will send you my own before and after photos. The DolceDiet.com. Use the code Sirnear10 at checkout and save yourself 10% on either one or both of the programs. You get your online meal plans, your shopping list, your workout videos. Everything you need is at your fingertips. It takes the thinking out of the process. Everything is laid out right there for you. They're easy meals. They're delicious. You can set up all 7 days worth of meals at one time, set them up ahead of time, take you no time at all each day to prep the meals, feed yourself, and be on your way happy, healthy, and living a longer, leaner life. TheDolceDiet.com. Use code Sirnear10 at checkout. Save yourself 10%. Who's better than you? All right, and now here is the Godfather on with the show.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of 8192 The Truth. This is Joel D. Supernaw. And for my partner, brother, the $1 Million Man, Kevin Sirnear, Brother Sin, is now going by the $1 Million Man. I'll get to that here in a little bit. Hope your 4th was great. I hope you had a great 4th of July. And it's so funny. It's so funny how people act on the 4th of July. Is we try to act like it's another way to show our veterans support. Hey, man, the vets, we owe everything to the vets. Vets are so important, this, that. No, they're not important to you. They're not important to you because they've got terrible pension. They've got terrible health care. There's tons of them living in homeless all over the United States. Can we stop saying we love the vets so much? Can we, please? Or if you're going to say you like the vets and you're down with the vets and you owe everything to vets, go do something about it. Go help somebody out. Go do that. Or just shut it. Because it makes a guy's head hurt. Fireworks. I'm so glad I never got into fireworks. The absolute dumbest thing in the world. Let's go shoot off some fireworks that go bang or sparkle. Let's go I'm from the Midwest, man. I used to have to do this when I was a kid. We would go in the middle of it's 500 degrees. It bugs everywhere, and we would go sit in a park to watch fireworks, and I never got it. I never understood it. I do not feel bad that Lad is not into fireworks. He says that he's never been into them. Usually you're not into what your dad's not into, so I'll take that one on the chin. I like the 4th of July when it's planted properly, when it's stuck in a good day. Thursday's a good day for the 4th of July. Wednesday's not so much, because then you can't really piss off the whole week. So this year we kind of got stuck with the 4th of July being on a Wednesday and back to work on Thursday and Friday. It breaks up your week a little bit, but it's just another day to take off and cook up a bunch of food and get drunk. That's really what it is. We are so far away removed from when we became independent of England. We're talking 250 years. Okay, it doesn't mean anything to us. We can say it does, but it doesn't. It doesn't. We are a selfish lot of people. All we care about primarily is ourself and what our little clique is about. That's who we are as a species in general. In general, some of you may be better. Most of you probably not. That's who you are. That's who I am. I'm just trying to get by, man. I'm just trying. Now, if I ever got my come up on, yeah, man, I'd help. I'd get my help on. If I was all moneyed up, yeah, I'd give everybody money. But in general, if you want the truth, that's who we are. We're worried about what we got going, what we got doing. Who's going to like one of our tweets, or what is that? A share? Who's going to retweet one of our tweets? Who's going to like one of our Feibu posts? I don't know what they do over there at Instagram or Snapjitsu or Snap, whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, that's my take on the 4th of July. That's my take on who we are. Let's talk about what happened with Max Holloway yesterday. It's very, very confusing to me. That here's where I'm confused at. Let me start off by the what I'm supposed to say, which is I'm very concerned with Max. I hope Max is healthy. I hope Max recovers from this, and that's all true. That's all true. But if all of that is true, if Max has a head injury right now of some sorts, is what we're being led to believe. Why? I can't believe I did that. Hold on. See, that's why you go to the studio. I just don't want to start over. I had my navigation set and it just popped up in the background, but I'm not going to start over. Okay, so last night we come to find out that Max Holloway is out of his fight because he has concussion-like symptoms. He said he went to the hospital on Monday with these things. They kept him overnight. They didn't find anything. They released him. As of Monday, he was okay to fight. Wednesday comes around, and he's still having those problems, and his team's like, no, man. And to be on the inside of that is a little bit different than what you think. Is his team knew that Max was up against it in a lot of different ways. Whether it was his energy was low, slurring his speech and this, that, and the other. But in terms of that inner circle was looking at it like, man, we can't send this guy out to fight. Plus, he's got a ton of weight to lose. He is not healthy. He is not healthy. We can't do this. And good for them, because he was sitting on top of the biggest payday of his life. So good for them doing it. But how did this happen? How did this happen? That's my question. Guys, how did this happen? Were you guys sparring that hard last week? Because there's one of two things happening. No, there's one of several things happen. First, Max has got some brain issues for some reason, unrelated to a sparring session last week, unrelated to a concussion. There's something going on with him, and he is just not healthy. Okay, that could be one thing, and if that's the case, he's not coming back in a month. This is going to be a process. This is going to be a process. The second option is that he got in. He had some hard sparring last week, and he got concussed last week. To now be this week and still having all of the concussion symptoms. Okay. That's just how this stuff works. And the third thing is the pressure got to him. And this happens, man. This happens. There was a heavyweight fighter, boxer, championship fight, went crazy, started jumping up and down and crying in the middle of the fight. Forgot what that guy's name was. But there's a lot of ways that pressure breaks fighters. It doesn't have to be in the ring. Sometimes it happens in the cage and they just find a way out of there as quick as they can. But sometimes it shows other signs. Now, if Max is sitting on a huge weight cut and the pressure got to him, that could be a reason too. Let's not act like that's not on the table. What do I believe? Well, I believe that we should find out. I mean, imagine if this happened in boxing. Imagine if this happened in the Super Bowl. Imagine if Tom Brady 3 nights before the Super Bowl had concussion-like symptoms. Couldn't, slurring his speech. Imagine what a big news story that would be. And everybody would want to know, how in the hell did that happen? How did it happen? It doesn't happen like that, guys. One of two things physically is going on. Either Max has some serious health issues with his brain, and there's nothing to laugh about. Very, very heavy stuff there. I'm a Max Mark. I love Max Holloway. He's one of my top 5 fighters. I love the guy. He has something wrong with his brain. Okay? That's one option. He just got concussed hardcore last week. That's the other thing. Or the pressure got to him. The pressure got to him and he folded up. And I would believe it would be one of the first two. I'm hoping it's a concussion. I had Brew Chance. He's going to be on the show on Friday. He's going to open it up with me. He had mentioned T.J. Grant. T.J. Grant was a UFC fighter that was sitting on top of a title shot, and he got a concussion. Couldn't do the fight, and then he's never fought again. And Brew was telling me there's something that happens sometimes when you have a head injury, when you have a concussion, and you add weight cutting to it. It can completely screw you up. So that could that could have been it as well. I don't know anything about that, but I do know this is a bad look. This is a bad, bad look. And the reason it is because we have been led to believe how safe this sport is. It's not. It's not. It's safer than boxing. Come on. As good as these athletes are getting, as much punishment as they're taking in sparring. I mean, I watched Chael and the toughest 55-pounder on the planet, Jake Smith, spar, and they fight. They're throwing some. They throw some heat at each other, and they've got it tapered back. So, punching each other at 70 to 80%, you're still getting licked. So, I just think that it shouldn't take forever to figure out what happened here. This is a big deal. 145-pound UFC champion cannot fight because of brain trauma of some sort. And we went to the hospital on Monday. They kept him overnight on Monday, and they released him, which means to me, on Monday, he didn't have a concussion. Which means to me, he didn't have a concussion on Wednesday. So now he has something else going on up there. Real or imagined. That's my take on that. I don't see anybody talking about that. Nobody ever asked why or how. Okay? We're just so like, what do we get? We don't get Max versus Ortega. Then what do we get? Do we get Edgar versus Ortega? There was some talk about Jeremy Stevens and Edgar fighting for a world championship on 3 days' notice. That doesn't make any sense. I have a hard time thinking Jeremy Stevens could make weight on 3 days' notice. I did believe that Edgar could. My first thought was Edgar Ortega for an interim belt. Now, Brew also made an interesting point. Brew thought, wait, but it turned out that Frankie couldn't fight. But it also turned out, as it appears, that Ortega said, listen, I'm not fighting anybody. I'm going to wait to fight Max. He's well within his right. But if Frankie was able to run it back for an interim championship, Ortega just did that. It just took advantage of Frankie saying yes to the opportunity. You would think that he would owe that. He would owe that to him. But as it turns out, Frankie wasn't going to be able to fight anyway. So I don't have a problem with any of it. I don't have a problem with guys saying, hey, I can't fight in 2 days. When guys step up, guys have stepped up so many times in this sport of mixed martial arts that is unique to the sporting industry. Doesn't happen in boxing. There are no replacement fights in boxing. I've never heard of a replacement fight in boxing. Wrestling, I was a wrestler. I've never heard of a replacement wrestling match, ever. This is unique to this sport called mixed martial arts. That the UFC has a show going on. One guy gets out for one reason, whether it's drugs, whether it's, the USADA, whether it is missing weight, doing something stupid, and something like this comes up, and they figure out a way to put on another fight up there. So we just like we don't care about the vets, but we don't care about these fighters. We do not care about these fighters. If we cared about these fighters, we wouldn't be trying to figure out how we could get Max Holloway to fight August 4th. We would be trying to figure out what in the hell's going on with Max Holloway. It's illogical to think if he did not have a concussion from sparring last week that he's going to be okay in a month. That is illogical to me. That means there's something else going on. What is it? We need to figure out what that is. Kevin, Brother Sin, the $1 Million Man. Okay. He tells me, man, this guy can't make weight. He's walking around at 190 pounds. He can't make weight. He's been living that champion life. That could be true. That could be true. He just had an opportunity to make 155 pounds a month ago, 5-6 weeks ago, to fight Khabib for the 155 pound belt, and they had to pull him out. He couldn't make weight. So what is his walking around weight? I would think it would be. I would think that he would come in to fight week within 20 pounds, putting him at 165. I mean, 20 pounds is a ton of weight for anybody to cut, let alone a guy that's probably has 5 or 6% body fat at 165 pounds. I mean, that's just a ton of water to pull. Is it more than that? Are we tricking the system with new weight cutting methods? Are we doing irreparable harm to ourselves? Is that a part of this? Did that weight cut that he just had a month ago affect his noodle? That could be it too. But I think there's bigger issues in the sport of mixed martial arts than when can we run somebody out there for a championship? When can we run Max Holloway out there again? Max has got some problems. And I hope we now take a step back and say, do we really care about these athletes? Because we have to put precautions in place to help them from themselves. If a guy can succeed by losing an enormous amount of weight and get an advantage on the system, get an advantage on his competitors, because you're telling me Max couldn't make weight, again, it was on a week's notice, but he couldn't make weight at 155 pounds a month ago, 5 weeks ago. Why do I believe he can make 145 pounds this week? Why do I believe that? Are we checking these guys out? I mean, these numbers, we have to have some rules and regulations. Chael Sonnen says same day weigh-ins, fixes it today. I love that idea. And after time of everybody going crazy, it will just be what it is. That'll just be it. Now in the way this works, the guys you wouldn't be able to do. Man, guys would still cut weight ridiculously. I don't know the answer, but I know it's a question that if we do care about these fighters, or we just say we don't care. Hey, love you, like how much we love somebody when they're winning. And then we just forget about it. Man, if they lost a couple, oh God. Mike Perry was the talk of the walk, and I was big Mike Perry guy. Had some losses, and then he went against everything that he was saying. Man, he had his team, and his team was everything, and he had this close core of people around him, and he was going to keep those people, and they were all going to be great, and had a couple losses and moved off to Winklejohn's camp. And it sounds like as much training as he's been doing a fair amount of partying as well. Good for him. He's a fighter. He's a young fighter. That's what I would do. It's exactly what I would do. Man, he's up against it. He's got a very technical fighter in Paul Felder this weekend. That's a tough fight. Do we care about these fighters? I say we don't. We just want something to watch about and something to tweet about and something to Feibu about. Because if we cared about them, We would not be putting them in situations where they have to lose the extreme amounts of weight and then go fight in an extreme sport. I think there's a lot of things that would be great for the sport of mixed martial arts. I think if they shorten the periods to 3 periods. You can do more periods. You can go. I mean, but seriously, if you can't figure it out in 9 minutes, can you figure it out in 15? Championship fights, I don't think you would have to change anything. You're going to have some boring fights. You're going to have some great fights, just like you do now. But it's going to be a little bit more realistic for guys to prepare for that kind of battle. For dudes that are fighting at a high level, hardcore, for 25 minutes, how are they doing it? How are they doing it? Are they cutting corners? You got USADA in there that says no, they're not. I say they are. I say a lot of them still are. If there's a way to game the system, they're out there doing it. So we still have a fantastic card. We have Michael Chiesa against Anthony Pettis. Is Pettis done? It's hard to watch the old guard have to walk out. Now Pettis is still pretty young. He is still pretty young. His last performance, he had a great performance. Chiesa's tough. What does this do? What does this do if Chiesa beats Pettis? What does that do to Anthony Pettis? I know it propels Chiesa up. Now, does a win off of Chiesa propel Pettis up? Be 2 in a row back at the 155-pound weight class? Maybe. Very, very hard to climb that mountain a couple times, especially with the talent that is out there now. My favorite fighter, Randy Couture, he climbed the mountain 3 times. Little bit shallower pool. One, two times at middleweight, 3 times at heavyweight, all sorts of different belts. Retired a couple times, came back, had success. Little bit different of a pool. The pool is deep and loaded with talent now. DC versus Stipe. Man, my biggest shock as of now, sitting on my couch Thursday at 10 o'clock, 10:30, is DC, as of this morning, was over a 2-1 underdog. That's insane to me. And boy, you see all the confidence he has. That confidence is real. That's an former Olympic wrestler, former Strikeforce heavyweight champion, former undefeated UFC heavyweight fighter, couple-time champion at 205 pounds. Only person that's ever beaten him is practically the greatest fighter of all time, whether that is enhanced or not. John Jones is the greatest fighter, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Top 3 anyway. I don't think you could take that away. So for DC to be a plus 2.5, plus 210 underdog, man, that means money is coming in on Stipe. They need people to bet on DC. I'm shocked by that. How did DC look against Ozdemir? Did he look that good? I don't think he did on his feet. I think on his feet, he did not look that good. Now he was coming off the knockout to John Jones. First time he'd ever been knocked out. He did not look that good on his feet. So, I am a huge fan of Stipe. If Stipe and DC are on top of a building, I can only save one of them. I'm going to save Stipe. I'm going to feel real bad about it because I like DC. I really do like DC. So my heart is going for Stipe. The one thing that bothers me, I wish this was a closer fight. The big thing that bothers me is that spread. Sometimes there's a gimme out there. I wish it was plus 135. I would feel better if this was an even fight. If the odds maker were looking at it even, I'd say Stipe's going to win this fight. Boy, it scares me to see the numbers at plus 210. Now the gambler in me is like, are you kidding me? How couldn't I go out and bet some money on DC? 2-1? You're going to give me 2-1 on DC, a guy that's never lost at heavyweight, a guy with his wrestling pedigree? He isn't going to outweigh him. They're going to be real close to the same amount of weight. Yeah, is DC, not body beautiful at 245? Who cares? He's short and strong, powerful hips. This isn't a bodybuilding competition. It's a tough guy competition. We lost track of that before USADA, when most of the guys were on the gas, and they were all looking like bodybuilders and fighting like robots. They're definitely not being as reckless with their performance enhancing drugs as they were back in that day. But DC at 2-1, I like DC on a betting principle. Who's my pick? I'll pick Stipe. I had Ortega winning the fight against Holloway. That's no longer on the board. I like Lewis, but I also am a big fan of Lewis. I think if Lewis can get out of the first round, he can knock that old boy out. He gets on top of him, that big weight, he can take him out. I'm picking Lewis. I'm picking Felder. I'm picking Chiesa. And I'm picking Stipe. So, tomorrow, we will be running it live at the studio. I'll have Brew Chance on, and then we'll go to Kevin and the panel of call-ins. I'm not sure if Kevin has them all. But let me stir the pot. So Scott Davenport, he was on last week. He's a friend of the show. And Kevin, they get into he said, she said, they get into a little text tiff. They go back and forth. And Kevin was just on fire. And I was like, oh my God, why bring that to the show? Be that guy. Come Ted DiBiase on the show. Be the $1 Million Man on the show. Light everything up. Oh God, I would love that. But it's kind of rich man, poor man. He kind of rich man, poor man, old Davenport. And, where I'm from, the 8192, the code of the 8192 is you can always call a marker. You can always say, hey, let's get down. I don't like you talking to me like that. Whether it's truth or not, you've hurt my feelings. Let's get down. So, Brother Sin has been saying he wants to fight. He wants to have his first cage fight. I talked to Mr. Davenport. He's down anyway. He's going to go, he's not even training, and he's going to go do some grappling tournament with Fabiano. I think it's next week. And, if his heart doesn't blow up on him, I say we make a fist fight. I say we get Scott Davenport against Brother Sin together in a cage somewhere cool. I want to go somewhere cool to watch it. And I want to corner them both. I want them to both come to the same corner, and I will just tell them how to beat the other guy. Like, this is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. This is what, come to the same corner. So there you go. I hope Sin's hot tomorrow. I hope he comes in Ted DiBiase style. There's the throw out to Brother Sin. See if he accepts it. Mr. Davenport has accepted a fight of any kind to the death or not against Brother Sin. We can do it at a catch weight. I think we should do 235 because I think Mr. Davenport's pushing 3 wheels, so it'd be a good thing for him to have to get to. I think that's fair. I mean, he's really a 205 pounder, so make him to get to 235. That's fair. Kevin can fight at 235. Give up, a few pounds. So there you go. Listen, get a hold of Kevin. Kevin Surnear, Surnear, and come on the show tomorrow, and we'll talk about things. Peace.